My name is Robinson Okeny. In this part of the show, I want us to focus solely on what is happening on the classic East Africa Safari Classic. Now, we're in Vipingo, that is in Kilifi County. And remember, this is where the action for the East Africa Safari Classic begins. And it will go to 11 counties in Kenya. Now, action starts here, will go all the way to Naivasha, and then the drivers will come back to finish in Kwale counties. They're expected to cover almost 4,000 kilometers, and of course, it's one of the hardest rallies to take part in the world. Now, one of course, the drivers to look out for is Baldev Chaga, who is the defending champions, won it last year, and is looking forward to winning it this year. I had a conversation with him in the morning. He's saying that with the heavy rains that are being experienced in the country at the moment, he hopes that he can he can take on that challenge and ensure that he can win, or rather retain his title. Aside from that, of course, we have Kenyan drivers such as the legend, that is Ian Duncan, who also says that he's looking forward to probably winning this year's safari. And aside from that, we have Chris Rosenberger, who took part in last year's event. Remember, he's co-driven by his wife, a very beautiful story they have right there. And aside from that, we have first-timers taking part in the rally this year. We have people that have come even all the way from Japan to just make sure that they are part of the toughest rally in East and Central Africa. This, of course, aside from the WRC Safari Rally, this is a totally different event that you have to go through 11 counties to ensure that you are marked among the best in motorsport. Now, remember, as compared to last year, the route this year has changed. Last year, they began in Nakuru all the way to Meru, then came to finish here in Kilifi County, but this year they are beginning here in Kilifi, transversing through a number of counties before they get to the final, the final stage that will be in Ukunda, that is in Kwale County. So it's going to be very, very interesting. We are looking out of course, to see how the drivers navigate the challenge that is ahead of them, as we wait to see who will be crowned the winner of the 2023 edition of the Safari Rally. Now, of course, I'm not alone on Scoreline this afternoon. Moses Wahisi is in studio, and I'm sure, yes, he's a fan of motorsport, and I'm sure he's looking forward to some of the Kenyan drivers winning this. I don't know, Moses, who are you looking forward to winning this year's edition?
I think when you talk about the 11th edition, and it actually promises to be an exciting one, it will be a tough one to call, because we've always had moments where those drivers that you think will be able to go all out and maybe win it, sometime they will not even have what it takes to be able to finish the race. And you're talking about 4,000 kilometers. That tells you it will be very, very unpredictable. Again, we're talking about the weather. A lot of people are talking about El Nino and what exactly it has been able to bring. So it will also be a muddy affair, one which will also be an exciting affair. So picking out a driver, you really can't tell. Remember, there's some sleeping giants that have already woken up, and they're saying we had not raced for a number of years and we are back in this classic. 63 drivers, 66 good drivers, we must say. So anything at any particular time can happen for that matter. Now, at this particular time, I know Kenya has been interacting with a number of drivers, interacting with the race organizers. Let's listen in from the chairman, and this is a person that has tried as much as possible to make sure that this race becomes what it is. Joe goes, and he's saying, I know it will not be easy, but we have done what we had to do, and we're trying as much as possible to give it the level best. And with that in mind, they're saying this edition will be an epic edition. Joe goes.
We have 63 starters. So in the history of the Classic Safari, this is the largest entry and the most diverse entry as well, with entrants from 27 different countries.
So I mean, when you talk about the Classic, you have people wanting to take part in the Classic. You know, what makes people want to come to the Classic?
nostalgia, you know. When we were all young, we all wanted to do the East African Safari or any other big rally, but we were young. We couldn't afford it, and resources and education and family and all of that. But once you pass that and you've done it, then you realize, hey, I can now live my dream and come and do the classic safari.
I spoke to Raju. He said that, getting people to participate, it's easy. But now running it is difficult. As a chairman, what can you say?
I think it's the most difficult part is running it. Because, there are a couple of things we can't control. One of them is the weather. And the weather, it plays a big part in the routes that we can use. So that is one, and number two is to keep it exciting, to use new roads all the time. But thankfully, on the positive side, Kenya is developing very fast. Most of the roads are being tarmacked, so it's difficult to get those maram roads. But now we have started using a lot of private land. So by doing that, we're doing another thing as well, is being carbon zero, carbon neutral, by planting trees wherever we go and supporting the local counties that we transfer through.
Yes, as the chairman, how easy or how difficult was it for you? I can look at the, getting all these partners to come in and support the classic.
The most important thing is if you do the right thing, then the sponsors also want to get involved, We've got people like Safaricom. They are getting an exposure of 110 million people today, as we speak. They're going to get a live stage being broadcast all over the world. So that's one way. The other way is to... A lot of them are my friends. I grew up with them, and they've all, all lived the dream, and they want to be part of it. So, yeah, that's fun.
This year, 11 counties. I mean, you are beginning in Malindi, which is in Kilifi County. The start is here in Kilifi County. You're going all the way to Naivasha. You come back and then go to Ukunda, that is in Kwale. I mean, why did you decide to do 11 counties as compared to last year?
We want new roads. I keep saying that we shouldn't be the same old roads. So that's one reason. The other reason was logistics, accommodation, things like that. When you have 65 cars, you have 1,400 people traveling each night. So you have to accommodate them, provide safety, and all of those things. So, yeah, that's the reason. But next year, we are going into Tanzania for sure, and maybe one more East African country as well. And we hope to increase the length to 5,000 kilometers, of which 4,000 will be competitive. And we also hope to use 40 to 45% of private land, so that it keeps the safety at a high level. Another notch that we should take up is our safety standards.
Yes.
So we are going to be working very hard to improve on safety.
We've always there's always been the talk of improving local tourism. How is this big in terms of trying to get people to get into local tourism, trying to see new places that are within the country that they've never seen before?
That's the easy one, because if you talk to people, everyone says, oh, I'm going to Kenya, I'm going to Mombasa, or I'm going to Malindi, or Masai Mara. Nobody will tell you, I'm going to the Cherangani Hills. No one will tell you, I'm going to Taita Hills. Yeah. By doing this rally, you visit all those beautiful places we have in Kenya, which is not on the tourist run. So, those entrants, as I was saying, from 27 different countries, will witness how beautiful our country is, apart from the normal tourist run. And then they come and, those areas become tourist areas as well, and enjoying the tourist run as well.
There are people who are hearing about the classic rally, and they're asking themselves, how different is the classic from the normal safari rally that they see? What can you say about that?
No, there are two very different rallies. The WRC is a sprint event, and it's part of the World Championship, and it takes place irrespective, and their audience is global. For us, we focus on East Africa, and our target audience is fun.
So you talk about the person, the chairman himself there, very, very confident and saying that I know there is a lot that comes into play just to try as much as possible to make these races become a reality. And I will tell you, it's never an easy affair. And yes, he said, sometime it will rain, the heavens will open, and it will be a difficult affair altogether, but they're doing a fantastic work, and kudos to the organizers and everything that they are doing to make this extravaganza become what it is. Now let's listen in from Raju Chaga. For him, he is a race director, and I know for him actually, he's a person that is not new in the world of racing, from the days that he was a navigator to the days that he was a driver, but at this particular time he's saying, as the race director, a lot comes into play, but of importance is to have a very, very formidable outing for all the drivers that will be competing.
Raju, last year you were the race director. This year, you know, you're taking care of everything. You know, what can you say about the Classic Safari?
It's the best rally in the world and the hardest one to put together.
Yes. When you say it's the hardest to put together, what do you mean?
It's just finding a decent route, putting the kilometers together for 9 days of rallying, trying to keep a safe route without going to too many populated areas. Very challenging. Everything changes. Tarmac roads are coming up. We're losing very iconic stages. But it's a challenge I accept every time, and we're getting on with it. It'll be.
You said that, you know, I had to put together, and now this year, as compared to last year it was the rally was held during a dry season. It's now being held during a rainy season. You cannot know whether it's going to rain today or tomorrow. I mean, how hard is that for you?
Every night is a sleepless night. I have advanced cars that are going and checking roads already. It's something unique that I have to deal with on a daily basis. I will, as I've said to everyone, not compromise on safety. If river crossings are unmanageable, we will either stop, wait, or we will have to cancel, unfortunately. But it's a game we have to play. We take it every day. We see what happens.
63 to 65 drivers taking part in this as the race director. How easy or how hard was it for you to put together, you know, to make sure these drivers come to this event?
You know, the getting the entries was the easy part. You know, this is like a bucket list event for many people. Once in a lifetime opportunity to come. For some, it's been a lifelong dream to keep coming every year. But yes, entries was not the issue. It's now managing such a big entry. It's the biggest we've ever had in the history of this rally. Biggest.
Yes, and 11 counties. Last year you were from Meru all the way to Malindi. This year it's from Kilifi all the way to Naivasha back to Ukunda. You know, what can you say about the route that you chose?
I've looked for several new places to rally, yes, and definitely new stages we've not rallied in, I don't think, in the history, or maybe in the olden days we must have. So that was one of my requirements, is to try and find parts of the country that we don't usually visit off the tourism circuit, so we don't having a lot of problems with wildlife and everything.
I know for them it's not easy, and they're saying that it brings actually a lot into play just to make sure that they will be able to have the proper kind of roads to be able to compete. But I know as the organizers do what they do, the drivers of Kenya, you will agree, have the most difficult work because they have to go all out perform, and their fans, we want to have some positive results. You've interacted with a number of them, Okenya. What's the mood and what are they saying, Okenya?
Completed the first 12 kilometers rather of the day, and I just want to speak to a man who was in you know, where the drivers were where they passed in the morning, and that is Eric Ocheng. Good afternoon, Eric. How are you?
Good afternoon, Robinson.
This attire umetoa wapi?
As you can see, I'm being kitted left, right and center. I can tell you everything is great. The rally is great. The weather is great today. Today was the prologue of the rally. It was not actually 12 kilometers. It was 15.5 kilometers. And right now, John Kane of Ireland is leading at 15 minutes and 37 seconds. He is being followed by Chris Rosenberg of Austria. Remember Chris Rosenberg, remember this name. In 2019, he came here and stunned the whole world by winning the rally in his debut. Today, I spoke to him earlier in the day, and he said he is not only targeting to finish, but also maybe to create history. And if it is very bad, he'll just be on the podium finish.
Yes. Who are you looking forward to star in this rally aside from Chris Rosenberg?
I don't think if any person is going to beat Chaga. Chaga is still the man to beat. Remember this flying saying guy, he didn't take part in the WRC Safari Rally this year because, and to me, I can say probably he was preserving energy for this. He wants to make a back-to-back history, and remember, only one person in history has ever done that. That is Rob Collins. Yes. And he wants to make...
Yes, he wants to emulate him.
Yes, to emulate him.
Yes. Thank you very much, of course, Eric Ochieng, who was with the drivers earlier in the morning. I don't know, Moses, are you looking forward to Baldev Chaga winning it back-to-back, or the likes of Ian Duncan winning this year's edition, or even, as Eric has said, Chris Rosenberger from Austria? Who are you rooting for?
I know when you think about the defending champion and what he wants to make and the statement that he wants to make, then a lot will say that he will be the man to beat, ultimately the man to beat. On this one, I don't want to go all out ultimately and say a particular person will be able to lift it, but I know the defending champions has a lot to prove, and he's a good driver, everybody will agree. So it tells you that he knows that he is a man on a mission, and the mission is to defend the title, and with that, ink his name in the history books. Now, let's listen in actually to a number of drivers, because the drivers themselves are saying that they know it will not be an easy affair. They know that it will be a task that they need to be patient, very, very patient, so that they can be able to lift the coveted crown this time out. Will it be Baldy? You really can't tell, but all the drivers determined, optimistic, and they want to star, and they know it will not be easy at all.
No, a legend when you talk about rallying, and it's Ian Duncan, who's a legend when you talk about rallying. And this year, he's sponsored by Farmer's Choice. Of course, there was that debate on social media on Farmer's Choice and Ian Duncan. If we can just get a minute with him to tell us what he's expecting this year. Good morning, Ian. How are you doing? How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yes, what are you looking forward to this year in this Classic?
Fun rally and a good result.
Yes. Different route this year. Is that going to be a challenge?
I don't know so much the route, but if the weather is erratic, it'll be a challenge. But rallying is always a challenge anyway. So it's...
Yes, Farmer's Choice came on board this year. I don't know if you saw that debate on social media. People were asking, Farmer's Choice and their sausages. People forgot that, you rallied way back in time when Farmer's Choice were, big when you talk about sausages.
Yeah, Farmer's Choice is still big on sausages. Just stop going on social media and eat sausages. It's easy.
Well, thanks a lot. What are you looking forward to this year in the Classic?
Just having a great time, a good rally, and laugh with an old friend.
Yes. Oh, looking forward to seeing you, of course, after 10 days on the finish line. Yes. What to Farmer's Choice?
Yes, my name is Lois Chiguri, marketing at Farmer's Choice. Farmer's Choice is excited to sponsor Ian on this rally. We are great on sausages, but we are also very excited to sponsor Ian on this rally, and we wish him all the best through the rally. We can't wait to press the golden buzzer.
We'll be looking forward to that. So let's talk also to other drivers, and Tim Shallen and Jeff Bell taking part in the rally. Good morning. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Are you looking forward to the 10 days?
Always looking forward to it. It's going to be a great adventure this time.
Yes, this time the route is different as compared to last year, because last year you also took part in this. I mean, what type of challenge are you looking forward to?
I think it's going to be a very challenging rally with the weather, and I think it's going to be survival. Whoever can get through the mud and get out the other side is going to have a good chance of winning. So, yeah.
You are from South Africa.
Well, I'm from England.
Jeff is from South Africa. Yes. I mean, when you come to Kenya, you know, what do you look forward to seeing?
We actually, so Jeff and I spend a lot of time here. I used to live here for about 16 years, so we know our way around. So yeah, so look forward to people, weather, animals, wildlife, space, and heat.
So I know a lot will be expected actually from these drivers. Kenya, you have around 4,000 kilometers to cover. I know you will be on the road for a number of days. You will be loving it. And anything special that maybe our viewers need to take note? Where will the race go from today's edition? Because I know from today we have 9 days of action. In the 9 days, I don't know which will be the easiest or the toughest kind of route. Okay, I'm told Kenya has already decided to take his early break, and yes, a lot of action on that end, and he will be trying as much as possible to have a good time with the drivers, and I know the drivers have promised that it will be an epic affair, one which we will have an eventual, simply one winner, the driver together with the navigator. Last time out, it was Baldev Chaga, a man on a mission. He says he wants to defend his title. Will they be able to do that? We will be able to know after the grueling 9 days of the action. My name is Moses Wahisi. Have a lovely afternoon. Keep it here on KTN News.